I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance
to
to
the
the
flag
flag
of the
of the
United
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wendy, you want to take the roll call?
Mike Hobson,
Here.
Michelle Blythe,
Here.
Jen Schweddy,
Here.
Marilyn Gertley,
Here.
Jessica Stickles,
Here.
Deborah Nelson,
Here.
Don Manning.
Here.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Question?
Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so I'm going to start out this evening with, can we put the picture up? Before the council meeting, I had the privilege of presenting a volunteer award to recognize Skip Smith for her dedication as she served on the Arlington Cemetery Board for 21 years. She was one of the original founding members of the board in 1999. She was appointed in April of 1999, and she resigned in April of 2020. She was, as I said, part of the original cemetery board when it was formed in 1999 after the city assumed the ownership and operations of the cemetery. Skip, during her time on the board, some of the things she participated in was an annual review of the budget, the fees, and the maintenance plans, construction of the cemetery maintenance shop, all-around improvements to the cemetery, including signage, new flower beds, irrigation systems, and tree plantings, a rededication of the Pioneer Cemetery in 2009, and the remodel of the cemetery office. She worked closely with our cemetery coordinator, Tanya Post. And I think Tanya said it best when she said she enjoyed working with Skip on the cemetery board and truly admires her compassion and dedication. So I just wanted to hope the council members would join us in thanking Skip for her passion and dedication to the cemetery for 21 years. Thank you. We also have a proclamation this evening. It's National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Jessica, I think you have a proclamation for us.
I do. So National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, whereas the City of Arlington recognizes the vital role technology has in our daily lives and the future of our nation, whereby today many critical infrastructure sectors are increasingly reliant on information systems to support financial services, energy, telecommunications, transportation, utilities, healthcare, and emergency response systems. And whereas internet users, citizens, and our information infrastructure face an increasing threat of malicious cyber attack, significant financial and personal privacy losses due to the identity theft and fraud. And whereas the U.S. Department of Homeland Security has established the Office of Cybersecurity and Communications and devoted resources within solely to support the strengthening and securing of the country's cyber infrastructure at the state, local, tribal, and territorial levels. And whereas maintaining the security of cyberspace is a shared responsibility in which each of us has a critical role. And awareness of computer security essentials will improve the security of the city of Arlington, information infrastructure, and economy. And whereas the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Multi-State Information Sharing and Analysis Center, the National Association of State Chief Information Officers, and the National Cybersecurity Alliance have declared October as National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and all citizens are encouraged to visit these sites and shop, think, connect, or to learn about cybersecurity and put that knowledge into practice in their homes, schools, workplaces, and businesses. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City of Arlington proclaims October as National Cybersecurity Awareness Month.
Thank you, Jessica. We had no members of the public that wish to make comment this evening.
Okay. Madam Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda consisting of the minutes of the October 5th and October 12th, 2020 council meetings and October 9th, 2020 council retreat, as well as accounts payables, approval of EFT payments and claims check 101095 through 101216 dated October 6th, 2020 through October 19th, 2020 for $1,225,438.45, and the approval of payroll EFT payments checks number 29744 through 29919 dated September 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2020 for $1,595,410.74, as well as the road mitigation agreement renewal with Snohomish County and the budget authority to use CARES Act funding for the airport vehicle.
Second.
Question?
Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, so we'll move right into our new business. And first up, we're excited to present to you the Youth Council appointments. Sarah Lopez.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of City Council. So tonight I would like to introduce you to our recommendations for the Arlington Youth Council school year 2020 and 2021. The staff recommends reappointing Anijah Reed, Grace Inez, Laura Mino, and Aristala Heaton. We also would like to recommend appointing Savannah Soltero, Jenna Essep, and Taylor Helly as new members. We have several members here tonight on Zoom, and I would encourage them to introduce themselves if that's okay.
Hi, my name is Grace Syons. I'm a junior and this is my third year on the Arlington Youth.
Grace is also the president this year of the Arlington Youth Council.
Hi, my name's Laura Mino. I'm a junior and this is my second year on the Youth Council and I'm the secretary.
And I'm Jenna Estep. I'm also a junior at AHS and this is my first year on the council.
Thank you.
So we're hoping that the council will approve the members of the Youth Council for this year so we can all get to work on working on issues for youth in the community.
No questions or comments? Okay, I move to consent to the appointments of Anijah Reed, Olivia Grace Dennis, Laura Mino, Aristala Heaton, Savannah Soltero, Jenna Estep, and Taylor Healy to the 2020-2021 Arlington Youth Council.
Second.
Question?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies, thank you for joining us tonight and welcome to you're officially now on the Youth Council.
Thank you for having us.
Yay, welcome.
Welcome.
Our next item this evening is the replacement of access control and camera system for the police department. Brian Terry.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and the members of the council. Before you this evening is a request for some additional funding to replace an outdated access control system at the police department. This system is a critical system. Most of the doors are controlled through that system and officers carry a prox card to gain access to the building. We hoped it would make it through the year. However, it's showing signs of failing and is on an operating system that's out of life or end of life. The current system infrastructure is original when the building was constructed. So working with the vendor Verkada and the reseller McKinstry, I was able to get some pretty good pricing. I was able to secure that pricing using some available funding that I had from the fiber feasibility study that we've currently put on hold. I'm coming before you tonight to ask for the remaining portion of the cost of the system. The total cost of the system is $65,183.24. And the amount remaining for your consideration is $40,813.24. I've verified with finance that there's available funding in the program development fund to support this purchase. The equipment is available for purchase off the PEPM contract, and the vendors are on the SmallWorks roster. This will provide a cloud-based camera and access control system for 10 years, and we'll make sure that this is incorporated into the equipment replacement plan going forward so that when there'll be funds available when the system is end of life. I welcome any questions that you may have.
Jessica, and then Michelle.
What was the estimated life of it?
10 years.
Okay, and then I know I asked this last week. It says that the budget monies would come from the program development, but in the history, it says part of it will come from program development.
Well, all of it will come from program development. I just had a portion of that was already budgeted for that I could use for the portion of the project.
And so the other 40,000 that you're requesting, is that taking away from anything else that maybe you won't do this year as well?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Michelle, did I see your hand up earlier? No.
Yeah, no, I don't have a question. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Okay, I just want to clarify that, Brian, you stated it was 40,819 or 13, I think.
Sorry, I'm sorry, $40,819.24.
I just wanted to make sure I did the motion right. So I move to allocate the additional $40,819.24 from the IT Program Development Fund to authorize the purchase of the Verkada camera and access control system from McKinstry.
Second.
Question?
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, all right, motion is granted. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next item, we have a resolution for declaring an emergency for a fine screen replacement and repair. Jim Kelly.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor and council members. This item before you is a request to declare an emergency so that we can forego competitive bidding requirements for the repair and the replacement of 2 of our 3 Huber fine screens at our water reclamation facility. The water reclamation facility has 3 fine screens that filter and screen out debris for all wastewater inflow. One screen earlier, a piece of 2x4 came in to the plant and it lodged and it broke the screen. These are rotating screens. And then we just recently had another screen break. It went right through its bearing housing and it is no longer functioning. So effectively screens 1 and 3 are offline and the plant is just being served by screen number 2. While screen number 2 can handle the flow, if it gets damaged or if we get very high flows, that would put us in a very adverse condition. We need to get the other 2 screens repaired and back online as soon as possible.
Deborah and then Jessica.
So Jim, I'm assuming this will pass tonight, but how long will it take to get the screens up and going? Because we're heading into storm season, so I would think that high flow could be a real possibility in November.
Yeah, well, the screens are manufactured by one company. They're Huber screens. They're manufactured in Germany. They have an office in the United States in North Carolina. It'll take 9 weeks to manufacture the parts. They started manufacturing the parts last week. After the 9 weeks, and once the parts are manufactured, we then schedule to fly them out here so that they can install the parts.
So what happens if the worst case scenario occurs?
Screen number 3, while it's out of its housing, its bearing housing, we can still run it. So we could make screen number 3 work if we had to. It wouldn't be pretty. Debris would get by and get into the plants, and if we get too much debris into the plants, it could damage our membranes.
Okay, thank you.
Jessica had questions.
Yeah, my question was, is there a way to secure the screen drum assembly so a 2x4 can't get in again?
And that's what we're looking into. And what we are looking to put into is a pre-screening device, or what they call a rake, so that any large debris that flows into the plant gets trapped by the rake. We had one on our old plant, at the old plant configuration. We do not have one on here currently, but that is something that we're looking at doing.
And what's the cost for something like that?
I have no idea. I don't even know how to do it. We go up there every time we sort of look at it, how we configure it in there. We do have an engineer that we're working with on on membrane replacement and some other work that's going on. And I have bounced it off him a couple times. So we are working on it, Jessica.
It does sounds like something that might fit hand in hand before you put these screens in, to put something to protect them if this has happened to a couple of them.
Yeah, yes. And it's amazing what the debris, that comes in there. Usually the rocks, we have a settling chamber, which the heavier debris, the rocks, bricks, they settle out in the settling chamber, but the 2x4 floated right on through.
Any other questions or comments?
All right. So, Madam Mayor, I move to approve the resolution declaring an emergency condition at the water reclamation facility and allow staff to waive public works bid requirements to initiate repairs, and authorize the mayor to sign the resolution pending final approval by the city attorney.
Second.
Question?
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, Jim. Resolution passes.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor and council members.
Your final item this evening is the notice of planned final action for eminent domain proceedings. Steve Pfeiffer, city attorney.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. This is a kind of a backup measure for the city tonight. What is before you is a proposed ordinance that would authorize the city to move forward with the formal condemnation action in the event that it was necessary. And I'll preface this by saying that in my conversations with EJD's attorney before I left on my vacation, they were willing to accept the city's offer, but we have not received signed documents back from them yet. And so the request is to continue to approve the ordinance tonight, although it may not be necessary for us to do anything beyond that at this point in time. Just to clarify, the city goes through the process of acquiring property on a fairly regular basis. And as many of you know, I've been city attorney for many years, over 30, and we've never before gone to this step of asking for council approval for eminent domain. And I think that's a testament to the fact that our staff is really very good. And between staff interactions with property owners and the hired right-of-way agents that we utilize to acquire right-of-way, we generally just don't need it because property owners are generally willing to work with the city and so on. In this particular case, the property owner had indicated, I think, a willingness to sell right-of-way to the city, but they weren't certain about the amount that was being offered by the city. And the delay apparently related to their hiring an appraiser to give them a second opinion of the city's opinion of value. And again, I've been told that they have accepted the city's offer and they're willing to sell the property to us, but we haven't seen the documents as of yet. And because it's been pending for so long, we want to make sure that the project isn't further delayed if for some reason there's been a change of heart between the time of my last conversation. The process for acquiring property by eminent domain always involves sort of a three-pronged approach. The first approach is you seek to obtain property acquisitions by agreement. And normally that works just fine. If that doesn't work, then the next step is to go through a sort of a two-step process. The first step is to acquire the use of the property. And that's through the passage of an ordinance declaring that the property is needed for the city purposes. Then the city can take possession of that property while the issue of payment for fair compensation for that property is referred or left to the courts. So that's a two-stage process that's very typical for city property acquisitions. We're in the very early stages where all we're doing is passing an ordinance that would say we do want this property for a proper municipal purpose for the roundabout improvements, and if we need to, we can file a lawsuit to sort of force the property owner's hand. As I said, I don't think it's really going to be necessary in this case, but we do want to move forward just so the project isn't held up any longer. I'm happy to answer any questions the council has.
Have you been down and looked at it? And how much is it going to encroach upon their property and next to the building?
I'm going to defer to Jim on this because I think he's been involved in some specific negotiations with the property owner on that issue.
Okay.
Jan, the amount of property that we need is a little bit over 1,000 square feet. Originally, the sidewalk, right now, the sidewalk in front of the building is 2 or 3 feet away from the building. We were going to have that sidewalk make a turn, and it was going to be approximately 1.2 feet away from the building. The property owner came to me and said, we want the sidewalk at the corner to make be 2 feet away from the building. And I said, okay, I accepted that. 2 weeks later, she came back and she said, I want it to be 3 feet away from the building. We went back and we had the designers design it so it's 3 feet away from the building. And still after that, she's been dragging her feet, not returning phone calls. So we tried to work with her. However, it's become, we're at an impasse right now.
Okay, thank you.
Questions or comments for Steve or Jim?
Okay. Then I move to approve the ordinance authorizing the city to proceed with condemnation proceedings if necessary regarding the property at 7715 204th Street Northeast.
Okay.
Question.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, and thank you for your explanation, Steve.
Yep, thank you.
Do we have any administrative report this evening?
Nothing else this evening, Mayor.
All right. Do we have any comments from council members this evening?
No executive session tonight.
All right.
No mayor's report?
No mayor's report.
Okay. Madam Mayor, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Question.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.